Hello and welcome all. Moving on to practice 5-2, and the assumption here again is that you have done the practice up to this point. We have already added documentation from 5-1. Here we are going to add some more documentations and modify the process again. This time using the narrative view. So step one, high level. While we are still in a graphical view, we are going to rename the end event and add a new end event to our process, calling it loan rejected. So here are the details instructions for this. It says click the end event level and rename it loan fulfilled. Let me save that here and we'll go to the do that. So we'll go to the event level. There it is, and go to properties, and this well, I'm going to close that out of our way here, and we'll relabel it. Or we also could have done that right here just simply by clicking into the box. Next step in the component palette, double click the throw event to display the options. Let's do that. There are a bunch of options. We'll see there. Drag an element and the process model and name it loan rejected. So let's grab that name and looking for an end event. And there it is. So let's just drag that and we will label it accordingly. It's enough. So in this step two, we are going to display the narrative view and we want to answer some questions. How does the narrative view indicate branching? Does the narrative view display the end user documentation that we entered before? And for the loan application task, what is the difference between description and documentations? Well, the details task will take us through there. So let's do step 2A first. We'll click on the narrative view tab. There it is. Takes just a couple of seconds to come up pretty quick. And now notice we can see the same process to the left. There's an overall descriptions for the loan process, which we have none yet. And then down below, I can now see all the various steps separated by role. Let's go back to our instructions here. Step B, scroll down and examine the review outcome gateway. Let's go there. Review outcome gateway. There it is. And it says question, how does the narrative view indicate branching? Well, the answer is it simply uses if and then otherwise construct. If this is true, go to the step 2. Otherwise, go to step 5. Letter 3, click the review loan application to display the detail for the task. So the review loan application for that is going to be right here, review loan application. If you click on that, it opens up this big box for all the details. Sure enough. Next, it says some questions that we need to answer. Does the narrative view display the end user documentation that we entered? Of course, the answer is yes. We can see it right here. And is it editable? Well, sure. We could edit and change that to something else if we wanted to. The next question is for the loan review application task in the narrative view. What's the difference between descriptions and documentation? Let's take a look. Notice description is the this box right here, while the documentations field contains help specifically for the end user. Notice the documentation field contains help for end user, and descriptions contains information for an internal audience, and that's where the internal information is. Okay. Step 3, using the narrative view and role descriptions for the loan process uh, and loan officer. Here are some suggestions. And if I look at the high level instruction next, it's followed with the detailed instructions. But frankly, the detailed instructions, I don't think we really need them. In fact, I'm going to use the high level instructions to do my copy and paste. We want the loan processor and loan officers to have their own descriptions. So here in the is the loan of processor. Let's go ahead and copy that, and we'll scroll up to the loan processor descriptions. I'm sorry, well, that loan, yeah, loan processor role description. We'll paste that in there as enough, and then the loan officer has its own description, and so we'll go to loan officer, and we can paste that in there, and of course that's what it looks like. Notice for step 4, still in the narrative view, it says that the new user task, name it underwriter review, and put it in the credit rules and dispersal. Now, normally this is something we do in a graphic mode, but we are showing you how to do it in narrative view. So let's go to detail instructions, click the credit rule business rules task to expand it. Let's scroll down to do that. Credit rule, there it is. Expand it. We have got that done. What's next? Well, next it says click add an activity. So let's add an activity, and it opens this up. Next it says new abstract activity in is added. Really? Where? Right here. There it is. It's just simply called activity. Step 7 interesting. So click the activity to expand it. Well, let's click on that. Now let's expand it, and now change the activity type to user task. Let's see what we are doing. So how do we change the type? Let's look at the instructions. It says we pull down this little box next to it and choose user task. So notice I didn't have a lot of choices. I can't change it to an interactive task. I can't change it to a service task. I can't change it to a lot of things, but I can change it here to user task. So it does not to give you full options, but it gives you enough to get you going. And there it is. Now it's a user task. Next step here. Name the task under right review. Well, let's just simply copy that and we'll give him that name under writer review. There it is. Next page, click add role. Well, under writer review, we'll go to add role. And in this case, we're going to create a new role name and we are going to call it underwriter. Just as a step C and click OK. So let's do that. I notice we could provide a description for the role like did before, but we could do it here ahead of time. So it still is a narrative view and an exclusive gateway named underwriter outcome after the review task. Add a conditional flow name rejected by underwriter. A lot of instructions and a lot of questions. Let's jump down to the detailed instructions. That's what we really need to do here anyway. In the expand underwriter review task, click add exclusive gateway. So in the underwriter review, let's go back down to that one. Let me scroll down to the underwriter review and we are adding a gateway this time, not an activity but an exclusive gateway. And if you will notice, sure enough, under underwriter review there is the exclusive gateway. Back up to here. Now the new gateway is created and it's just simply called exclusive gateway. So our first questions we can answer when you first add the gateway, what branching is indicated in the narrative view for that gateway. Let's take a look at the narrative view. Sure enough, it just has one outgoing sequence which goes to the distress loan. Let's take a look. It says otherwise we go step 9 dispersal. Well, click the gateway and expand it and let's name it under writer outcome. That's the first we are going to do is rename it to a logical name. So there's the gateway. We expand it. Let's give it an appropriate name. Good. And then it says click the add conditions down arrow and select the loan reject event. So add condition. So let's go down there. So we are in the wrong place here at condition. And oh, I forgot where we are going now. We are going to the loan rejected event. Loan rejected, which makes sense. So we have added the condition. We have go to disperse loan or go to loan rejected. But one notice was missing here is the if what's the conditions. So notice they say well the condition is enter rejected by underwriter. Just right now we haven't implemented it yet, but we are documenting it with descriptions. So rejected by underwriting will go right into here. So if rejected by underwriter, go to step 11 or loan rejected. Otherwise, go to step 9 dispersal loan. So textually, that makes sense. Let's go back to here and answer questions in that review and go. Can you add more than one conditional flow to the gateway? The answer is yes. If you're not really sure, let me just show you. Sure enough, I can add another condition if I wanted to add a create a condition for that as well. Moving on, in a narrative view, can we name conditional flows? Can we name the default flows? The answer is you can name the conditional flows like we just did. But notice you cannot name the default flows the keyword, otherwise it's used for default flows. So there's a no place to name it. Let's move on. Number 6, in graphical view, examine your process, name the default flow, because we can do it over there from the underwriter outcome and call it approved by underwriter and fix the formatting. And it gives us some details step to do that. So let's follow those details step. Here we are step click the graphical tab. Well, that's easy enough. We click over to graphical, and by the way, notice it automatically. There is my new gateways, new users task, and there is a line that got drawn to loan rejected. I think I'm going to move this guy over here to make it more visually appealing, logically appealing, I should say. And we are going to move ahead. It says now I have done that. Enter approved by underwriter in the name field for the outcome area. So we need to click on the pencil icon, which we will do right there, and we'll label it accordingly.